There you are, like any other rookie, fresh-faced and wide-eyed, ready to put the world to rights. You probably always wanted to be a cop ever since you were a kid. Your dad used to walk the beat back in the 20s, when things were a bit different. He died when he was still young, blasted through a shop window by some crazy doped-up street punk. Now you're on your way to the academy, all ready to make the difference.
Alright people, let's get on with it. This ain't no goddamn holiday camp. You raws wanna be cops? You gotta be good. You gotta work for it. We're 2 weeks into your training and 18 of your buddies have jacked down already. And they won't be the last. Unless, that is, you get off your butts and toe the line.
In the academy, the only boosts are the fact that you get to see lots more daylight than the most people. You get lit, you learn how to handle yourself, and you will take lots of tests. And of course, you will also get shouted at all times, and if you're good, in the end, you might even get your badge. But if you think the academy was hard, you ain't seen nothing yet, Chumba. You see, the academy will spit you out with the badge in hand into the lowest ranks of NCPD. If you're lucky, you might get to cruise the streets in an armored patrol car. Otherwise, it's a foot patrol for you, Grunt. And whilst I have nothing against the academy, they really dropped the ball about telling you what you really need to know, the street smarts, like how to tell if the gangs are ready for a burn. And a small tip for you, Chumba, it's when they just disappear. Suddenly, they are not hassling people on the streets or hanging out at the bars anymore. They just vanish into thin air and then all hell breaks loose as they hit their mark. There's some really scary stuff out there. However, if not the knowledge of the street smarts, then what you do have is authority, the ability to intimidate or control others through your position as a lawman, and don't be afraid to use it. It allows you to call upon the full might of the force of law and the government. It will allow you to question suspects, arrest the wrongdoers, and defend the innocent. It is a skill of sorts. If you survive your first year as a patrol officer, you get promoted to veteran officer automatically and get to pick your specialization. To get any further promotions, you either need to be pretty good at kissing ass or be pretty fracking good at your job, as your immediate superior will decide whether you progress or not. This will also apply to all subsequent ranks of sergeant, lieutenant, captain and department chief. As for chief of police, well, that one is picked by the mayor. One could say whoever controls the mayor controls the police. So get busy kissing ass or kicking ass, Chumba. The choice is yours. Now on the streets of Night City, you're bound to come in contact with all sections of law enforcement. More than anything, you'll get in close and personal with the patrol division. They are essentially the man on the street. All 4 sections of beat, traffic, cruise and airborne patrol are there to reduce the opportunities of civil misconduct, thus making it the backbone of the Night City police force. Be nice to them and they just might leave you alone. Investigation Division is your detectives. Their purpose is simple, to identify, locate and assist prosecution. Day or night, rain or sunshine, they go out to check the crime scene or investigate the perk who might be the potential punk who committed the crime. The role is much more prestigious. You get assigned vehicle and special equipment, and the best perk? No need to wear a uniform, unless you insist on it of course. In ID, your options are either vice, homicide, robbery or special investigations. Just word of fair warning, Chumba, you will be far more likely to come in contact with the top end of the violent criminals than others, so if you choose ID, keep it frosty. Tactical Division is your hammer on the anvil. SWAT, MaxTac and Riot are a uniformed division, almost always geared up with a hardcore armor, weapons and vehicles, and are deployed depending on the need and severity of the situation. You'll need them when the talking stops, whether it is hostage rescue or a rampaging cyber psycho. Sometimes you gotta send a maniac to catch one. Tactical is the bottom line. If they can't deal with it, then we got a problem. From there are the desk jockeys. NetSec security section provides you with the monitoring and information services, as well as cyber forensics. Administration division is there for admin and paperwork stuff, the usual. Last but not the least is the IAD, the Internal Affairs Division. They are there to ensure that you toe the line, and if you don't, then they will find out about it. You might hate them, but they got a job to do as much as you do, and as long as you do your job right, they will not hassle you, if you get me. Serve well and serve long, and after 30 years you can retire on your pension, and until time of your death you can choose to remain as a licensed Terminator. In fact, old cops become bounty hunters more often than you think. You know, it's quite funny, Chumba, but when you're cruising the streets in the dead of night with the crazies out in force and acid rain pouring down from the skies, you start to realize something. For all the abuse that you get from the people on the streets, they still need you. When some blood-soaked hooker runs out in front of you with her pin brandishing a blade close behind, you know that if you went there, she'd be just another stiff scrape off the streets in the morning. Just another statistics. Law and order. Maybe that is a bit of a foreign concept when you first arrive in a night city, Chumba. Nevertheless, as messed up as the city is, there is some order and some law. It just depends on interpretation and variation, and who answers to who. Don't worry though, you'll soon find out. Whilst Night City Police Department is the main law enforcement body, and they are the overlooking power, there are different factions around the city that provide security and order. Some of these factions work together and share responsibilities, some don't, and some even seriously dislike each other, or NCPD. The Night City is divided into 18 suburbs, with each having a variety of security and a law enforcement. NCPD is the main security provider in Little Italy, City Centre, Lake Park and Upper Side. Whilst trauma team that operates in a medical center and has its own very capable security forces. I mean, with guns blazing, they are the only ones who would not hesitate picking you up from the combat zone, if you need medical assistance and have paid your dues of course. NCPD still provides most of the safety and security around this area. Old Town is mostly covered by NCPD, however, solos who live in a Camden Court do help out. Heck, even some of the police officers live there, so there is an understanding, so to speak. As the name implicates, the Little China is home to the majority of Chinese leaders in the Night City. However, what makes it to stand out is the monolithic huge headquarters of NCPD, built in 2018. The hub and heart of the law enforcement of the Night City is located here. And what an absolute fortress it is. Harbour Police, who are actually a law enforcement division, are not on very friendly speaking terms with NCPD. They operate in Upper Marina, East Marina and the New Harbour area. They answer to the Chief Harbour Master and are very distrustful of Night City Police, mainly because they believe them to be corrupt and broken, as well as inefficient. They will be first on a crime scene in those suburbs and prefer to conduct their own investigations. If there are bodies to collect, they will call in the meat wagon, and that's as far as their effort to keep in touch with NCPD goes. It is said that they are the least corrupt division in the Night City. It goes without saying that whilst the CorpSec can provide you what you need, security that is, however, as far as the law goes, well, they serve one master and one master only, their own corporation of course. Sometimes they will work with NCPD, but oftentimes they will deal with things internally. An outcome is solely determined whether it is in the interest of the corporation or not. The suburbs that are under their main influence are Northside District, West Hill, Corporate Centre, Bank Block and Japantown. Northside District is a bit of an oddity though. If you decide to settle there, then keep in mind you will be dealing upfront and personal with gangs, as it is responsible for up to 40% of gang-related fatalities in the downtown area. And whilst NCPD will try to police it, what many local small businesses will do is go to Security Specialist Incorporate. They are the ones who you go to when you can't afford a Arasaka level of protection. They are affordable and very reliable. Other districts on the other hand are firmly under corporation protection and their presence is visible throughout. Any violations or crime will be dealt swiftly and severely. And as for Japantown, there's a fine line between whether the corporation provides protection and or organized crime. I mean, one could say they are the same thing, but that is for another time, Chumba. Rest of the suburbs such as Night City University, also known as NCU, Studio City, Charter Hill, are covered by the private security. In NCU, the security is provided by the campus police. Their glossy black protective gear and the no-nonsense attitude has earned them the moniker of the Mad Maxers. Whilst their main district is NCU, they also offer help outside of the campus area. Studio City is home to Colonial Studio, who has its own guards and security. The area is considered by many inhabitants of the city as a waste of space. Last but not the least is the Charter Hill, which has the lowest crime rates in Del Coronado Bay. This is mainly for two reasons. Firstly, Charter Hill is a no man's land as far as the gangs are concerned. It's often used as a neutral meeting point to resolve problems. Given the diversity and complexities of different characters in the Night City, it's quite interesting how so many of them have come to such an agreement, and even more importantly, been able to stick to it. Secondly, Hacienda is situated there. It is the Night City's only true hotel casino, and it is famous around the world. It is said that only the richest of the power dealers can afford a lengthy stay at the Hacienda. Where there is a power, there is security, and the solos that are hired to protect this area are some of the best in their trade. Therefore, Chumba, think twice before you consider doing anything that might get you flatlined. You don't get thanked for it, many even hate you for it. But then, you don't join the Night City police and expect to get a pat on the back for wasting some boosted street punk who tried to ice some old guy. You join the force to stop the whole place from going crazy. The pay isn't great, but you're never alone. Maybe you're down and bleeding in some gutter. You're pretty bad, but you know the cavalry's on its way. There is nothing like the scream of sirens in your ears when you are in a tight spot. We take care of each other. End of story.